Imagine unlocking your phone and realizing the display is watching you just as much as you're watching it. Not in a creepy, sci-fi way, but in a way that actually protects you. Someone sitting next to you on a bus tries to sneak a glance at your messages or banking details, and instead of seeing your screen, all they get is a dark blur, while everything still looks crystal clear to you. That's not a futuristic concept anymore. It's what Samsung is reportedly preparing for the Galaxy S26 Ultra. And the best part, this is only the beginning of what might turn out to be one of Samsung's boldest smartphones yet. Welcome back, viewers. Sam here. And if you're as excited as I am about these crazy leaks and rumors, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the deep dives we've got coming up. Now, the Galaxy S26 Ultra isn't just shaping up to be another spec bump. It feels like Samsung is finally trying to solve some of the problems that have bugged us for years. That rumored Flex Magic Pixel display is the centerpiece, and I have to say, this could genuinely be one of the most practical innovations we've seen on a phone in a long time. Forget just brighter and sharper displays. Samsung's reportedly using AI to control individual pixels, which means the screen can adapt in real time. You're watching a movie. It stays wide and vibrant. You're typing in your PayPal password on the subway. Boom! The angles tighten and suddenly your screen is private without you doing anything. It's like having a privacy screen protector without that awful trade-off where your display looks dull or washed out. And here's where things get spicy. Reports suggest this isn't just a prototype anymore. It's already entered mass production. That practically screams flagship ready, which lines up perfectly with the S26 Ultra launch timeline. But here's where the story takes a twist. Samsung isn't stopping at just the display. Rumors are swirling that the company might finally reshuffle its whole Galaxy S lineup. Instead of sticking with the same S plus Ultra formula, Samsung could rebrand the entry model as the Galaxy S26 Pro, phase out the Plus entirely, and introduce something thinner and sleeker like an S26 Edge or even S26 Air. That would leave the Ultra sitting at the top as the ultimate powerhouse. If that turns out to be true, we're not just looking at one big upgrade. We're looking at a strategic shift in how Samsung positions its phones against Apple. Think about it, Apple has iPhone Pro and Pro Max. Samsung moving to Pro, Edge, and Ultra suddenly makes that battle a whole lot more interesting. And let's talk cameras, because if there's one thing Samsung never holds back on, it's flexing those megapixels. The S26 Ultra is rumored to keep the massive 200MP main sensor, but here's the trick. This time it's paired with a wider f1.4 aperture. That's not just a small spec change. That wider aperture means significantly more light hitting the sensor, which could completely transform low-light photography. Imagine snapping photos at night that look so natural, you barely need night mode at all. Combine that with Samsung's already impressive AI, powered image processing, and you've got a phone that could seriously challenge dedicated cameras. And that's not even mentioning the telephoto upgrades. Word is Samsung might finally swap the 10MP 3x lens for a sharper 12MP version, which doesn't sound huge on paper, but when you zoom into a shot, that detail could make or break the image. Of course, raw power matters too, and Samsung knows it can't slack here. The Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 is tipped to be under the hood in most regions, while some markets will likely get Samsung's in-house Exynos 2600. Early leaks suggest the Snapdragon chip could push performance benchmarks into record-breaking territory, with whispers of 4 million points on Antutu. To put that into perspective, that's not just faster, it's a leap into laptop-like performance territory. And while clock speeds and GPU cores sound cool, what excites me more is how this power will fuel new AI features. Samsung has been quietly building deeper integrations with Perplexity and other AI assistants, and with 16GB of RAM reportedly making a comeback, the S26 Ultra could finally feel like a true AI-first smartphone. Imagine asking your phone to not just search for something, but to summarize, explain, and adapt answers in real time, all without choking your battery. Speaking of batteries, Samsung seems to have finally heard our cries. The Ultra is expected to stick with its 5,000 mAh capacity, but rumors of 60W charging are making the rounds. That might not sound revolutionary compared to some Chinese brands pushing 120W or even 152Ws, but here's the thing, 60W from Samsung means reliability. It could mean 0 to 50% in just 15 minutes and a full top up in about 45. For anyone who's lived with Samsung's slower 45W charging, that's a quality of life upgrade you'll feel immediately. Add to that some clever engineering around slimmer battery packs that still hold the same capacity, and suddenly the Ultra starts looking more refined without giving up endurance. But wait, here's a rumor that might split the fan base. The S Pen, that iconic feature that's been part of Samsung's DNA since the Note series, might be on the chopping block after the S26 Ultra. Leaks suggest the S27 Ultra could ditch the built-in stylus completely, and honestly, that's a big deal. Some people still call the Ultra the Note. And for them, the S Pen isn't just a bonus, it's the reason they buy the phone. Losing it could alienate a loyal base, but on the flip side, it might give Samsung room to slim down the phone and push design in new directions. For now, though, the S26 Ultra is safe. It's still expected to ship with the S Pen intact. But if you're a die-hard stylus fan, this might be your last chance to get an Ultra with everything included. Now let's zoom out and think about Samsung's bigger strategy. The company isn't just battling Apple anymore. It's also fending off rising competition from Huawei, Xiaomi, and Google. Apple's iPhone 17 Pro Max is already expected to bring a radical redesign, bigger battery, and fresh camera system. Huawei's Pura lineup has been making waves with insane camera hardware. And Google's Pixel series is leaning harder into AI than ever before. So Samsung isn't innovating in a vacuum. Every decision here feels like a direct response to global pressure. That's why something like Flex Magic Pixel matters so much. It's not just a gimmick, it's a real differentiator that Apple, Google, and Huawei simply don't have right now. And that could be Samsung's ace in the hole when customers are deciding which $1,000 flagship deserves their money. And while we're on the subject of money, let's face it, pricing could make or break the S26 Ultra. The S25 Ultra started at $4,000, maxed out around $659 for the 1TB model. So far, leaks suggest Samsung isn't planning a big price hike, especially since the new Snapdragon chip reportedly costs no more than the last one. But here's the catch. If Samsung adds Flex Magic Pixel, faster charging, camera upgrades, and keeps the S Pen, that's a lot of value packed in. The question is, can they resist the temptation to push the starting price higher? If they hold the line, this could end up being one of the most competitively priced Ultras we've seen in years, especially compared to Apple, which rarely misses an opportunity to bump prices. What really excites me, though, is how the S26 Ultra seems to be solving problems instead of just stacking features. Privacy without sacrificing display quality. Faster charging without compromising battery health. Cameras that aren't just chasing megapixel numbers, but actually making low-light photography better. That's the kind of thoughtful innovation that makes a phone worth upgrading to, even if you already own last year's model. And the fact that Samsung is apparently pushing this much refinement into a phone that's still months away from launch tells me they're serious about making the S26 Ultra more than just another spec war contestant. But here's the thing, we're still months out and leaks can always shift. Will the S Pen truly survive beyond the S26? Will Samsung really deliver on 60W charging? Will Flex Magic Pixel actually live up to the hype, or will it be one of those features you turn off after a week? These are the questions that keep this story so fascinating, and they're exactly why I'll be following every leak, every report, and every insider whisper right up until Samsung finally unveils this phone.